Welcome back, everyone. This is Akanar here with more Taiji, where we have wrapped up 8 of the 9 major areas. So I'm very excited today at the thought of getting a complete set of bonfires. That idea has got me in a puzzle-solving mood. Here it is. This could be lit very, very soon. So why don't we get to it? Let's start actually solving some puzzles. It's been a while since we came through the art gallery. It sure feels like this is an art gallery. We'll get a name here soon enough, an official name. But let's see what we've got. I did notice the first time that we came to the art gallery, I did notice these dots. The dots were a bit conspicuous, and so I figured that I don't remember if we had seen dots yet at that point in our Taiji Island survey, quote unquote. But I did notice them, and I thought this is probably the puzzle element in play here. So knowing what we know, the 3 dots probably means we have to do something like this. No. Okay. What else is in play if this is not simply... Because we previously have been able to simply line up, like the dots are the same color, correct? And unless I'm supposed to be looking at other parts of the of our person riding the unicycle here, I don't think there are, like, would there be hidden dots in this? I don't see any other dots realistically. Like, there's other parts of the painting that are black, but they're not dots. There's 3 dots here, which tells me everything that I know says that we're supposed to fill in a contiguous space that has 3 squares. So there must be something more going on. Let's look at some other paintings to see if we can figure out what might be going on. Now, okay, this is clever here. So we can see the 3 dots that are the, I don't know, a constellation over here in the top left. There's the two dots, black dots that are the eyes of the moon. There's another one over here that's a star, but then there are places where there could be dots on Our Lady here. One of them, I think, might be the necklace. It looks like 3 dots here and 3 dots here that are the same color as the stars. Maybe. It's a little hard to tell if they're a little bit slightly darker, like a very, very light gray compared to white. But also, the irises of her eyes may also be black dots. Okay. Which suggests that maybe I should be looking for more dots. Oh, I see it now. I see it now. It's funny getting your brain clued in to looking for the right things. I totally missed I was looking for black dots. I should have been looking for white dots. Because that's Taiji, right? Yin and yang. We'll see if that pattern holds with the rest of the art gallery here. There's probably going to be more colors involved than just black and white. But regardless, I see 3 white dots here at the bottom, which means, actually, how do we do this? We do it like this. And that is a very Taiji solution. It makes sense now. You got to look for all of the dots. Okay, so if these are 3 here, that means we have, I guess, 10 total. 10 total. If we're saying they're the same color, which, let's go with that for now. We need to do this, and then we do that. I think that's where those 3 sets of 3 dots are. Now the problem then, though, is the black dots We kind of need to be clever in filling in the empty spaces here, don't we? We need to do something like this. Now it could be, I wonder if these are a different color. Like, would doing that work? No. But then if I change it that way, I would need to... Oh, wait a second. No, the black... Her eyes are actually next to each other. Okay, hold on. I screwed... I was thinking that this square was where her eye... The... From our perspective, the right eye. Her left eye. It is actually right here. So... How do we do this? How do we do this? This needs to be the... we definitely, at the very least, have to have this square and this square in their own contiguous space. Regardless of... It sure feels like these are supposed to be the same color as these. I'm just... The optical illusion of seeing the necklace against her skin versus the dots that are against the night sky, I think is making me think that they're a different shade. And also it feels like I'm focusing on a detail that doesn't matter, which is usually when I'm overcomplicating. So how do we combine, if we're saying that this eye is the middle square, and we're saying that this eye, like, it could be that the eyes are, nah, they're dots, aren't they? They have to be dots. They have to be. Sure feels like they have to be. How would I be connecting things? Oh. I could do this? Is that what they want me to do? Oh, okay. Okay, we are decoding things. So it turned out to not... Yeah, I don't know definitively if the stars are a different color from the necklace because we ended up putting them in separate rooms. So I guess we made them happy no matter what. All right, I think we're getting it here. So now... Oh, interesting. Now we have flowers that we are inserting here. This goofy looking owl staring back at us. How are we interpreting this one? Are these the owl's eyes? Are they supposed to be dots? Are they supposed to be dots? Because they look very close together. If they're dots, it's like they're both a part of this square, aren't they? Yeah, I will admit that I did, when we were solving these puzzles, I couldn't help but stare a little bit at the puzzle that was over here beyond. And I noticed that, oh, there are diamonds and lines involved that we're going to have to match up to the corresponding puzzle panel. I almost, there's part of me that almost wants to do like an MS Paint sort of thing where I overlay the grid on top of the painting, but I don't think we have to do that. We just need, let's start filling in. They're giving us a fully yellow flower and a couple fully purple flowers, which may just dictate how things go no matter what. So let's say that this is our yellow flower here, and then these are our 4 yellow petals. Now, there are some fallen petals, which are a little, they do make me a little unsure here what we're meant to do with them, but I think maybe if we are supposed to account for them as a normal... See, the thing is, I don't think we've actually ever seen yellow or purple petals just by themselves. They've always been a part of a 4-petaled flower that has either it, for whatever number of yellows there is a enough purples to fill in the flower. So a single yellow by itself, I don't know that it's supposed to behave differently. Let's assume that it doesn't, and that it needs a corresponding square in one of the cardinal directions to go with it. I guess we already have that. If this square is the single yellow petal, then we have the 4 yellow petal flower in the middle already. So both of those are happy, if we're supposed to make them happy. Now, what about this petal over here? Not sure about that guy. Let's assume for the moment that, let's say that the purple flowers, well, I don't know if both of them are supposed to be empty or filled. If we say that the purple flower in the corner is empty, then that would require these 2 squares to be the opposite, which does then make this 2-petaled flower filled in, and it would then require, I think, these 2 petals to be filled. So now, by necessity, this other purple flower has to be empty, and therefore this petal has to be filled. So, does that work? That doesn't work, because I think we have not actually accounted for... Can I account for the yellow petal down here by saying, okay, I'm going to leave it empty, and therefore this one to the right is also empty? No. Because I don't think we're accounting for the eyes. That's perhaps the trick here. The eyes... Are there 2 dots? And therefore we need to have a 2 square space? It just is throwing me off because it doesn't feel like, whenever we've seen sets of 2 or 3 dots before, they've been at a diagonal, right? And then when we get 4 dots, then they're in like a square formation. But if it's just 2 dots, I don't think we've ever seen them in a vertical line. That's the thing that is giving me a little bit of fits here. Why don't we look at maybe, that one is just diamonds. We have a snowman up here that, once again, diagonal dots, along with some diamonds. We might have to come back to the owl, but let me see if we can, there might be some variation to how we handle, I don't know. If the issue here is that depending on what we do with this purple flower up here, it's gonna have to be reverse, right? That's gonna have to happen, and then that means that this, I'm actually not seeing how we would satisfy. Is this a different symbol here that I am forgetting? Oh, wait, is it one of our XOR? Do we have a 0 and a 0? Is that what we're doing here? Because we have had several different versions of puzzles, but I don't think they've ever shown us. Have we ever seen either of the zeros or ones? I mean, if we had 2 zeros, I'm not even sure what that would mean. I guess we would leave this empty. We would want this square to be empty. Is that what it's trying to tell us? Which means that needs to be filled. And we could do this. I feel like I'm totally making wild guesses now. Like, am I not supposed to... Oh, but I am not making this single petal down here happy. Oh my gosh, that was it? Okay, Could it be that did this not matter here? Did the owl's eyes, were they just a red herring? Like, could I have alternatively flipped this all? If I flipped this to empty, that would require these be filled, and it would require these be filled, this be empty, this be filled, and then this could be empty? I think, I'm wondering if those are 2 zeros, and that the fact that there's a 0 XORed with a 0 means that this has to be empty. I am probably, I don't feel like I fully get that puzzle. I don't feel like I fully get it. Can I even fill it back in the way that I had it? How did I have it? Like this? Okay, well, we'll take the win. We take the win no matter what. Might need to revisit that if there are other puzzles that are going to be similar to this one, like having the owl eyes there. Did those count? Let's be on the lookout for other paintings here that might include 0s or 1s. And maybe that will test our logic for us. Okay, 3 of diamonds. 3 of diamonds. Interesting. 3 of diamonds, and then the numbers. The number 3 at each of the 4 corners. So there are 3 diamonds. We know from experience that we need to pair the diamonds with something of the same color. We could pair the middle 2 diamonds like this. It seems obvious that we have to pair one of the diamonds with one of the 3s. I just don't remember if we haven't had numbers as symbols other than the 1s and 0s, but like just the regular counting numbers, I don't think are a puzzle element on their own that needs to be satisfied. So we just need to make sure that like this diamond here is paired off with just a single 3. No, there is more going on. Whoa. Huh. What have I missed? What have I missed here? The number 3. I'm just gonna quickly, you know, it could be useful. It does feel like this area, the art gallery or whatever, is relying on knowledge from a lot of other places in our puzzle world. And I maybe need to remind myself. So we had the diamonds in the mine. We had the ruins. Dots in the shrine. Binary up in the, what was the graveyard. We had the maze puzzles, the mazy snaky dance floor, the orchard, the gardens, and then the mill. Definitely don't remember having the number 3 or any other you know, counting oriented puzzles at any stage. So this one, oh right, I forgot there was a whole nother level to this. I completely forgot there's an area down here. Okay. Oh, there is a mazy snaky dance floor. Oh my gosh. Okay. I forgot about this area, and I am, at the moment, very lost on how I would even start this. What the heck? What the heck? So we have, I don't necessarily want to focus on this yet. I want to see, I meant to go back to the 3 of diamonds. We'll come back to that area. Let's head back to we got to figure out... There's something new that's being introduced here. If we were going to do something with these 3s, what would it be? It's not... They wouldn't throw a curveball at us where we're supposed to put the 3 diamonds together. I don't... That wouldn't be right. But I don't know how we are meant to group them unless we're supposed to pair the 3s as well. That doesn't make sense either because there are 7 elements altogether. Could it be? Could it be that... No, I think... Well, hold on a sec. I could be jumping the gun here. Do the 3s want to be... Like, do they somehow act like dots? Where they want to have a contiguous space that they are a part of? I'm not... I'm really just spitballing here because I've never seen anything quite like this before, and the straightforward solution that I would go for is not working. Okay, so we're going to reset and come back to that one. Let's keep doing the ones that make sense, given what we know. Our snowman here has some dots. I count 5 altogether, and we have 2 pairs of white diamonds. Is there anything else that the carrot nose conceivably could be a diagonal line, but also there's only one of those diagonal lines, so it really doesn't make sense for it to be a line puzzle as well. So can we... Let's see how this works. If this is a 2 here, let's see if we can... We'll use our markers to denote... Let's denote the numbered squares. Are these... I think those are our numbered squares. Seems to line up. So if those are our numbered squares, it probably makes sense that we're pairing the diamonds. So this 2 could be like this. We could have a 1 here, and then we just have a 2 there. Simple enough. Okay, just segment the board. Split the board in half. Beautiful. That feels like we're playing Taiji. Okay, now this one. What the heck is this? What the heck is going on here? Huh? What? Okay, I do see the fact that there are some bricks that are darker colored, and then there's this like crack in the wall. But I don't know what that means. We're supposed to, like, okay, this, again, my witness brain can't help but think that this is analogous to the town. And we're meant to really, really have accumulated all of the knowledge that we need to, from the rest of the island, if you will. So what other portion of the island is this drawing from? Like, I'm thinking to the ruins. That really doesn't feel like it lines up with the ruins. The snaky mazy dance floors. It might be, we might need to actually just like go running around the island again to just refresh ourselves on all of the different things that we've seen. Because I definitely think that there are, we saw, was it last time? There was a panel, a shortcut panel that I had just completely forgot even existed. So what else, what other things have I sort of tucked away in the parts of the brain that I don't need to access? Okay, we're gonna go with a white diamond here and a yellow diamond here. 2 yellow horizontal lines and 3 diagonal white lines. So that is interesting. Let's see if we can mark those spaces. They do give us some helpful guiding grid lines here at the border of this one. So it looks like this one, this one, this one, this one. Okay, I think those are where our symbols reside. So we're pairing the diamonds with one of these lines. We're pairing the diamonds with one of these lines, which is interesting because it does mean... How do I pair? I'm ruling out any of these. There are, you know, these yellow and white borders on the road, but I'm ruling those out as being puzzle elements because they're just so much, the lines are so much longer, right? Like, is there a world where this is supposed to be a diagonal yellow? It's not the same length as these. The puzzle naturally reads the way that we've set it up, so let's not overcomplicate it. The first hurdle that I'm noticing, though, with this yellow diamond is if I pair it like this, there's only so many ways that I can pair it. Okay, if I pair it with one of the yellows, well, I have to pair it with one of the yellows. Whichever yellow I pair it with, the other yellow is probably going to have to be in a negative space. I don't think I could similarly fill this in, this second yellow line, because then that creates, it's going to create a contiguous space with the space that has the diamond, and that screws up both lines who want to have like this, you know, collection of the same shaped rooms. That's not going to work for those two yellow lines, but it's also not going to work for the yellow diamond because now there's 3 yellow things in this room. So I think this one here would have to be in a negative space. So we could maybe do, you know, we could do something like this. And now this is going to be its own negative space. So if I do that, then I have a bit of a latitude in how I construct. I have a little bit of latitude how I construct the white spaces, but I do ultimately have to pair the white diamond with a white line. So I don't have too much freedom in constructing the rooms for the white lines. One of them has to reach out and touch the white diamond some way. Now, so if I make this shape like this, now that's impossible for this guy to be made happy. I mean, I did extend things in a way that maybe I don't have to here. Like I could do, let's see. So this, it's a little tricky because this white line is here. So it would want to be, I wonder if I could do this. Could I do that and therefore do this? I mean, that kind of works, doesn't it? Let's go. Man, when a puzzle clicks, I'm sure y'all know that feeling. It's just so good. I have no idea what the fuck to do about this though. And I don't know what the hell we're gonna do about this. So, okay, we come back to him. How many of these, are these all gonna be required to get our bonfire lit? There's also so many in this area, but I like it. I'm glad that if this is indeed the town, it's fun to have to put all our knowledge to work. We can always come out here for a nice little breather when our brain's about to explode. Okay, what is this next set of panels? There's a red panel and there's a blue panel, and the camera is, I guess, zooming in, which we don't have to do. I think it remembers whether you're supposed to be zoomed in or not. So if we have the zoomed in thing enabled, it will do that automatically when we go to the next panel. Does that... So I don't know if it's helpful to have it zoomed in, because we have this, we have a stained glass, what looks like stained glass over here that feels like it would have to be associated with these panels, correct? I'm just not sure how. Let's put those on hold as well. Okay, this is fun that the difficulty, similar to the town in The Witness, the difficulty level has spiked. Oh, but there is a yellow panel over here. Okay, so there are 3 panels altogether that somehow correspond to this? What? Let's see if we... Okay. Oh my god. Oh my god. And then what is this? Boy, we are really... Some of these feel like they are not actually a culmination of previous knowledge, and that it's just... It's a whole new way of stretching your brain. What do I even do with this guy? So... The first thought that comes to mind is that this is somehow, am I supposed to draw a midpoint line here, and then any dot that is above the midpoint counts as a 1, and the rest count as zeros or not filled? Is that what we're doing here? That's the first instinct, so I'm gonna roll with it, because I actually have an instinct for once on one of these. Oh, but there's... Wait a second. I must have... 1, 2, 3, 4... Are there more? Oh, there are more dots than there are... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, shit. There are more dots than there are puzzle panel spaces. Well, that's... unfortunate. What? I don't like how that feels. Because it throws my idea out the window. What the heck? Interestingly, the game is allowing us to gaze into the next room. We're not completely blocked from seeing the panels that we're going to eventually have access to. So it kind of does feel like they're trying to teach us a new type of puzzle here. Because the way that these dots, like on this set of panels here in the back, there's a dot in many of these rectangles. They're not quite squares, but the dot is at a slightly different position. The hell does this mean? Okay, let's take a step back to the stained glass puzzle and see what details we can put together. There's for the red panel, it's a 4x4. How many red squares are there? There are some different sized red squares. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, there are 3 different sizes of squares, aren't there? This one here is like a medium size, if we count this as the large, and this as the small. This is like a medium size all to its own. So, the hell? However, it does look like there are 16 of them. This is really, because it's challenging that assumption that I had sort of associating this to the town. It does feel like there is new knowledge that's being introduced here. Okay, so little square is empty, big square is filled. Like these kind of loosely associate or loosely correlate to various positions. There's like sort of a row here. There's sort of a row here. Kind of. This really does, it kind of, now that I'm thinking of it, it feels a little bit like the Shady Woods puzzles, where there's a level of abstraction here that feels like it's in play. There might be some clearly defined rules that once they're explained, or once you really know what you're doing, that it all lines up. But this, you're kind of, you have to make some simplifying, I don't know. Let's see. 2, 1, 3, 4, and then 1. Let's see if I can remember this. It's just ever so slightly annoying that we have to, I'm gonna have to go back and look. I'm gonna have to run. I'm not gonna be able to memorize the full thing in one go. But I think we're making some semblance of things. At least on this puzzle. But it's a puzzle that's just unlike anything we've seen before, right? Okay. Okay. Now, funny enough, none of those puzzles actually had a cable going from them. We are going to have to solve this in order to get into the next area. This is really, it does make me, the fact that I am seeing this panel back here that has these 4 dots with almost makes me wonder, are these musical notes somehow? Like you've got these music bars, and these are like whole notes. I do have a little bit of background in music, having played the violin as a kid, and so I do vaguely know how to read music, but I'm not sure that's what this is supposed to be. But the fact that there are these horizontal lines does make me wonder if we are supposed to be splitting this in some way. But man, it's really okay. Well, okay, so maybe we're not. There are indeed 12 dots, but there are, therefore, because there's 12 dots, that means there are 11 lines, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's one less edge compared to vertices. So the lines are maybe the way that you're supposed to be. Okay, all right. I think now I have a guess. I think it's the slope of the line. I'm wondering if this is what you're supposed to fill in. If you have a line that's going down, or if it has a negative slope, that counts as empty. And then going up, or positive slope, counts as filled. Could that be it? Could that be it? That was a very a little slightly creepy. The squeaking of the doors there almost sounded like Like some little child yelping at you. Like, did you really just solve that puzzle? Okay, all right. My goodness. So we are connecting dots. We are connecting dots, and it looks like it's all about the lines, not necessarily these horizontal lines, but the lines that just connect one dot to the next. One dot to the next. Oh, okay. All right, not that straightforward. Not that... not that simple, huh? So... am I supposed to do the set of dots on top first? Those are the first. So we have 3 connecting. How is this supposed to... Let's say that this is our dot number 1. So edge number 1 is going down. Edge number 2 is going up, down. And then from here, we're going to say that this, like, I don't know, carries over to this side. This is, if we were to like stitch these together, then this dot goes to here, which means it is 1, 2, 3, for the 4th line, and it's going up. Then we go down, then we go up. And then, are we going up or are we going horizontal? What does that count as? Does that count as going up? Does it count as going down? Or am I completely out in left field? Okay, hold on. We'll come back to you. Oh. Interesting. There are three potential ways. Oh, okay, hold the phone here. Okay. All right. A detail that's, once you get your sense-making apparatus attuned to what you're looking for. One detail that's important here is this line. There is a line on the left-hand side of this puzzle. And there is also a similar line on the left-hand side of each of these panels, in addition to the horizontal lines. I haven't quite made sense of those yet. Maybe they're more important, perhaps much more important than I was giving them credit for. And then there's also... okay, this one we might be able to solve because we just need to... we need to put the dots... we need to shift things back. This is really where I need MS Paint. We'll see if we can do it without MS Paint, but I'm not above it. I used screenshots. Maybe not MS Paint, but I did use screenshots quite a bit in my Witness playthrough. Which I think I mentioned already was well before I ever started recording content. It is one of those games that I wish I had been able to record my first playthrough. But I was a big, and still am, a big proponent of using screenshots. It is all fair play if you need to. But let's see here. I think this dot is to the left of this dot, which means that the first line connecting the dots, if we're connecting them in sequence from left to right, then the first one should be empty because it's going down, and then the next one goes up. Then it does look like we have, oh no, this is the next dot here. This is the next dot here because this one's on the left. This is to the left of this dot, so really this dot connects to this dot. So that makes this empty. Then we have one that goes up. Those are connected. Now, let's see. Now we have, from here, we go to this guy, which goes down. Then we go from this one to this is the middle dot in this shaded rectangle. So that also goes down. Am I on the correct count of dots here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think I'm good so far. Then this one goes back up to here. Then we go down to here. Then we go up to here. Okay, all right. So the logic on that checks out. And now, where the detail that I had noticed at this panel, I hadn't circled back around to it yet. But the line, there is not just this line on the left-hand side, but there is a line on the bottom. So that is an interesting thing to note because, well, okay, let's just do the puzzle like we've been doing, where we're connecting the dots starting from left to right. So we have an upslope, we have a downslope, an upslope, down, up, up, down. Just like we would expect. Now is where things maybe get tricky, potentially, because, okay, I think what we do is we once again connect things from left to right, but now we need to think like we're looking in a reflection. So things should be, I mean, should it not just be, if I mark something here and I step off of the panel, it does go away. I can't see what I've marked. It should just be inverted, right? Correct? That's what I thought. That makes sense. So now maybe that gives us a clue. Maybe it gives us a clue on what we do with the other panel to the right, the green panel, but let's not get to that just yet. Now we need to I'm gonna be tilting my head here for a moment. Forgive me while I look a little silly on camera, but this is for the, oh my gosh, okay, actually that hurts my head. It hurts my head, it hurts my eyes, it hurts everything. I think I can do this without actually looking like a dingus. All we have to do is just think from bottom to top. So, and we think in terms of as if we were tilted, right? So going from this dot to this dot is a downslope. So this first one's empty. Then we have an upslope. Then we have a downslope. Then we have an upslope, down, up. It's just inverted. There we go. Okay. Let's get a hydrate to celebrate our new puzzle knowledge. I'm not sure where else we're going to be able to apply this knowledge. This is an interesting section here that perhaps is unique to this art gallery. Now, we've got the line on the left, but we also have these vertical lines. The vertical lines, what are they trying to tell us? What exactly, or are they, did I say vertical lines? The lines that are, the lines that are in between the dots, which are horizontal lines, are they actually important? Or is it more important the fact that this panel is in between these two sets of dots? And that it's going to, like, to one of these panels, it's going to look like you are, like, am I supposed to like take, kind of take this bottom panel and flip it over and pretend that it was like take this dot and put it here? Like just mirror it across? Would that work? So this would be going down, and then you would have a going up. Then from here, this dot actually gets put up here. So you have another up. And then this dot would be here, you would have a down, and you would have an up. And then this dot would be here, you would have a down, down. Ah, okay. Okay. All right. I feel very satisfied, particularly after the initial approach to this floor, which was leaving me rather baffled. But we got there. So what is on the next floor? What? Oh my gosh, they really are. The abstract thinking that it feels like they're throwing at us here. It's a lot of fun. I'm glad that this is not... I'm actually... now that my head... Now that I am starting to get into the flow of what's going on here, I'm actually glad that we're not just completely, you know, rehashing previous puzzle mechanics. This is good. It's throwing me for a loop, but I'm starting to get in my bearings. I think. Let's see what we have going on here. So, where are we meant to start? It does feel like there are some panels that are simpler than others. But what about this section? I guess this is is this the smallest one of the bunch? I think maybe that is the start. Let's just say that this one is our starting puzzle, just because it feels it's the smallest and therefore the simplest. Correct? Now, I mean, the straightforward solution feels like you just, you know, these are the filled in ones. Okay, good. Go with the straightforward solution first and hope that that works. So then now we look at the blue columns to figure out which portions of, let's just to experiment here. Just a little bit of experimentation. If we completely flipped this board, would it be happy? Is it going to do the Taiji thing where it's happy both ways? No, it is. This one is a little bit more particular. We do need to fill in specifically. Whoa, my mouse decided to go haywire there for just a second. It is going to require us to be one solution. And I think for this panel, this is that one solution. There we go. And then we have this here. Okay, we're making sense of this. We're putting it together. What are these folding panels called? You put these up for, you know, to like change clothes behind them in like a changing room. What are they called? I don't remember the name. But now, okay, so in this case, there could be a couple different ways to align this. In this instance here, we took the first, the third, and the fifth columns, and we put them on the left-hand panel. So are we meant to do that here? Are we supposed to fill the left-hand side with the left, I guess, left-facing portions of the panels? Let's go with that as a starting point and see where that gets us. No. So then I guess the more straightforward approach is to fill them in one just from left to right. So this is the... It's interesting because what's gray on this side is the darker of the two colors that are on this particular column. But gray on this side is the lighter of the two colors. So I think this is how we want to arrange things. Because we kind of have like a shadow that's making the right-facing portions darker. I think that's how they want us to interpret this. Let's go. Okay. So now let's circle over. Well, actually, it might be simpler to start here. Now things do get a little trickier because we don't just have the shadow, but we do seem to have some different... We have more than 2 colors, it seems. Is that really the case? We still just have either on or off, filled or empty. It is still that kind of a puzzle. How do we account for the variation in the colors here? That is a good question. How do we do that? How do we do that? Because it's not going to give us feedback on individual squares, right? It's either going to be an all or nothing. So my gut says, like this pink one up here, my gut says that these 2 squares are the filled squares for this column. And then for this column over here, that's what my gut is telling me. But I don't feel great about it. Because now what about this 4th column? What's this one up at the top? A lot of uncertainty that I'm feeling now about this particular panel. Having thoughts of, like, am I supposed to be using color theory or something? I really don't know what to do about these. I guess what we had done previously... Maybe what they're trying to communicate to us here... I'm wondering if the lesson... They're trying to show us that sometimes... How do we break this down? So on this panel, we've got a blue row at the top. However, there are clearly these 2 squares that are kind of in the light. They're not on one of the shaded or shadowy sides of the folding screens here. This shade of blue is visibly lighter, notably lighter than this shade of blue. Just like this shade of green here is visibly lighter than this shade of green. But then you've got this shade of green that's much darker than this shade of green, even though it's on a shadow side or a shaded side. It's those differences that are probably what we're meant to notice and piece together. I think maybe that is the key insight here. But then the question still remains. The question still remains, how does that correspond to one of 2 states on the board? Like this pink here, it almost feels like it's a square all to itself. Is there any other color? Or are these the same color? And this is just some weird optical illusion. Is this the one? Boy, this is really screwing with my brain. There's an uncertainty here that I don't like. It's hard to say it's an optical illusion, but it's so funny how this works. It's almost unsettling. Throwing out what felt like a lot of certainty on these previous panels. These all felt very clear what we're dealing with. There was not like these were just super straightforward. Even though like I can see on this panel, you like without taking into account like the shadows, if you don't take the shadows into account, there are what appear to be 4 distinct colors, right? But then if you do take the shadows into account, then there's really only 2. Is that correct to say? I'm not sure. In order to light the bonfire, I wonder what we actually do have to solve inside of this gallery. Because there is a cable that goes to the bonfire, but it's not, I don't see a cable up here on this floor connected to any of these panels. We did have a cable down here that locked the doors for this set of panels, and then I guess there was a cable here that required you to solve the previous 2 panels. But it is interesting to... We still have a couple panels down here that we haven't... This place has been tough. The art gallery may not be even close to the same difficulty as the rest of the areas. It really has ramped things up. Maybe this is the cable here, and it goes to this. Oh, wait a second. I'd have to check my footage at this point, but I'm looking and it feels like we have filled in a floor on this art gallery. One of this 3rd floor, which I think we did complete. We did complete this 3rd floor, did we not? I guess maybe we're counting like the cellar with all the wine barrels and stuff, or whatever beverages inside those barrels, and there's a whole lot of beverages on the bottom floor. I think we completed all the puzzles on this floor, which means that it looks like it means that we do have to complete all of the floors in order to light up that bonfire. Okay, all right. So yeah, this definitely is a deviation from, you know, I think the most difficult area, or the area that took me the longest to light the fire for, was it the mines? The mines felt like that one took the longest. But even that one was not really an outlier. I would say pretty much every area that we've done so far has felt, I wouldn't say simple, but compared to what we're facing here in the gallery, this is a significant ramp up. It's hard to even say it's a ramp up. It feels like you're almost playing an entirely different game in some regards. So we'll keep working at it here, though, and we will try to get our heads wrapped around what is going on. What am I supposed to be looking at here? I have the layout of this puzzle panel. Am I supposed to be looking at the broken window down here? What? Can I interact with that? Okay, that window does seem very conspicuous. There's no other window that has broken panes on it, but I also am not sure that it lines up to this puzzle panel. This diagonal layout here doesn't seem like it lines up with anything other than maybe this. Oh, that's what it is. It's these wine bottles, except they're on this, like this, you have to tilt your head again. I think if you tilt, yeah, this one has the 3 and 4. Okay. All right. Well, then in that case, we fill in where the wine bottles are, right? The wine bottles are here and here and here, and then also here and here. I somehow screwed that up. Somehow just left out a bottle. I left out a bottle. Okay. some really out of the box. Maybe that's probably why. The outside of the box lateral thinking, I think I've said before, is not my strong suit. So I am feeling challenged here in this area so far. Okay, now what? Now what? So we have these wall panels, but then we also have floor panels. Okay. Now, this here, okay, so this panel, I think, has the same layout as the windows. Okay, so this, we did just fortunately happen to notice the panes of glass here that were broken on this particular panel. I think that's that is what is meant to correspond to the panel here. The only little question mark is, are the broken panels filled or empty? It would make sense if they're empty. Now, slight annoyance, very slight annoyance, is having to walk. You cannot just see the broken glass without walking away from the puzzle panel. But it's fine. It's fine. We work with it. Oh, it does show that you've marked some squares on this particular panel. The pressure plate stays marked. I think I had noticed that before, but I had forgotten about it. I feel like these are the ones that are empty. Okay. Making some sense of things. Slowly but surely. Now, oh boy. Okay, so now we need to look for something that has 2 rows and 6 columns. What might that be? One of these arrangements of barrels, perhaps? Is there a set of barrels that is... Oh, no, I see it. I see it. It's the floor out here. I am liking this floor, I have to say. I am... This basement, the first floor of the gallery, I am enjoying. This is clever. Once again, though, I am gonna have to walk over to this. All right, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. That's actually not too complicated. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. All right. Okay, so now, oh boy. Now, this is where things... I'm afraid, I'm worried that this snaky mazy floor dance puzzle is going to correspond to these wine bottles. Maybe not, though. Because these are at the same crisscross that these wine bottles in here were set up as. Oh. Oh. What if it's this? What if it's this? That would make the most sense, wouldn't it? The little curly Q that we had to do in the plateaus previously, that would make a lot of sense. And also, I like the fact that I can see this. The only question is, it's interesting that they are giving us two. They're giving us two of these. Okay, so I think I need to go like this. Yeah. Yeah. This, I feel like this one just draws itself. But I'm confused as to why there's two starting points. I guess you could just start at either one and it would work out. Okay, now let's I think that is all the panels on this floor. Let's check. Oh, we can't go out this way. Let's check our little miniature art gallery over here. Sure enough, the first floor is completed. Okay, so we do have to complete all the puzzles in here, I think, in order to light our last bonfire. Oh boy. Lock in, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, I say lock in. This is... We might need to come back, because I am not sure what I need to do on this one. There's 3 diamonds. And then 4 number 3s. 4 3s. 4 3s. Do all the... I can't put all the 3s in the same room, because I need to pair one of the diamonds with one of the 3s. Don't I? What would the numbers... The 3... That's the thing, as I don't have anything else in the game so far that has clued me in to what the number 3 means in terms of being a puzzle element. Maybe I do need to go and re-explore the entire island, and maybe we'll do that, right? If we can't get our bonfire lit, unintentional rhyme, then re-exploring the island for, if nothing else, to do the, you know, puzzles, optional puzzles and whatnot that are left strewn about wouldn't be the worst idea. So we have a 5 by, well, I guess a 6 by 5. And here, it does actually feel like we have... Oh, there are 6 rows, aren't there? This is actually maybe not as complicated as I was thinking. Because what was throwing me off was the fact that it didn't feel like this, you know, 6 by 5 lined up with this. It felt like this was sideways compared to this guy. And then I didn't know what to do about the crack. I think the crack is just supposed to be the left-hand border. And we just look at each row. One, two, three, four, 5. And figure out what's filled in and what's not. This might be a lot simpler than I thought it was going to be. Could be much simpler. Yes, please. Let's go. All right. In that case, Fresh Brain OP. Don't know what we're going to do about diamonds, though. Do not know. This one, I think, feels like it's going to have to be for another day. Let's give another look. Feels good to get at least the 2 of the 4 floors under control. We could look once again. Maybe it would be helpful to try to do this puzzle here. This is a whole different, well, maybe it's not a wholly different. I wonder if this one is actually more straightforward. Because yes, there's a lot of different, you've got like a crisscross 2x2 in each of these. What corresponds to a single square here is actually this like 2x2 that seems like it has two different colors in it. But I think the idea is we want to compare the 2x2s to each other. How are they shaded relative to one another? If we look at this second column, we can see that the bottom and top squares sure seem to be lighter than the middle three squares. It feels like that should be the case. I'm just not totally sure if this column here is supposed to be all filled in or all empty, but they do feel like they're all the same. If we go to this one here, we can see it looks like 1, 3, and 5 would be lighter than the rest. And it looks like the same thing on this one, actually. Duplicating those columns makes me wonder if I'm not on the right track. But then again, we might be doing a Taiji thing here. So is this one filled in or not? I kind of feel like this is what's going to happen. Yeah, okay. Okay. That one feels much simpler than approaching this. Because now, this is where my brain just breaks. Because now it feels like I have 5... If I'm comparing these relative to each other, if I am meant to compare these relative to one another, I suppose what I'm looking for, I think what the game wants me to look for is not to say what is magenta versus blue or purple versus white. That's not the comparison. The comparison is, or the question I should be asking is this a light magenta square or is it a dark magenta square? Because I think what I can see is if I look at this square compared to this square, this one, they're both on a lit side of the folding screens, which I think means that this one is lit, but this one is not. And also this one is not, correct? And by similar, so now we're actually, okay, I think now I'm starting to get it. Now we're comparing relative to each row. Assuming that we're comparing like sides, so I don't want to ever be comparing a lit side to a shadowed side. But if I'm comparing two shadowed sides to each other, then I can clearly see that this is relatively lighter than the other two. That's the game we're playing, isn't it? So here I was looking relative to the column, the squares, comparing them to each other within their column. Now I'm comparing them to themselves to each other within their row. I get it. I get it. Things are lining up. Finally. Just got to get your brain tuned in to the right channel. It feels so simple now when you start looking at it like this. It feels so much easier. Dang it. Okay, what have I missed here? What have I missed here? Ba 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 ba. Did I make too far of a leap with my logic? Maybe I did. I might have made too far of a leap with my logic. Although that felt very good. That really felt like what they wanted us to do. So where did I go wrong? Shit. It really feels... like maybe I just missed one square, but I feel like I've double checked this now. Let's triple check it. I've got a light. I'm just gonna fill it in from scratch. We've got, we'll start with the top row this time. So we've got light blue and light blue. That's 3 and 5. And there's a dark blue here in 1. And then 2 is light, and 4 and 5, sorry, 4 and 6 are dark. I think that's the way I had it. I feel like this is just going to go the same way that it did before. 1, 3, 5. And then 4 is lit. It could be that there's just a flaw in my logic. But let's follow this through. Is this... huh, is this where I'm doing like a... did I have like a colorblind moment here? Where I thought that this was the same shade as this? It's... oh man, it's hard to say. But it should be, right? Because this is not the same shade as this. But this is the same shade as this, correct? Now is where I almost want to do some MS Paint to see, is this actually, just do like the color dropper test to see, is this actually the same as this? This is starting to feel a little different than the way I had it before. But I'm not totally sure. Okay. I must have screwed up this purple row, or maybe even some of the others, where I was just doing a weird... I have to admit, like, part of... I don't think I'm colorblind, but I do feel like I see this shade here is a different shade from this. This one looks lighter than this one, but I can also clearly see the distinction between this, and these two bleed together. So that one played a little bit of a trick on me, I guess, but we did get there. So, okay, so now can we apply that similar logic that we just did here on this? I think maybe so. I think I can do the same thing, because this one is clearly lighter than these. And this one is clearly lighter than these. So if we're just sticking to the same rule that we did on the previous, and just compare, look at the lit columns, and then see how those rows compare to each other, and then look at the shaded columns and see how those rows compare to each other. Hopefully what I say makes sense. It definitely makes sense in my head, and that's really what counts. That's ultimately the most important thing here. The other most important thing is, can I get what is in my head onto the puzzle panel? I'm hoping that in this case I can. Okay, let's go. Woo. We are getting stretched in a whole new way today here in Taiji, but that is 3 out of 4. This little miniature, this miniature art gallery, it, for whatever reason, it made me think of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Like, for those of you who would have watched Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood as a kid, you know, the little going into the miniature model buildings and like zooming into one of those, and then all of a sudden you're in the imaginary puppet land. That's kind of what we're doing here, isn't it? Is this the last one? I think we have one more puzzle between us and a bonfire. Oh my goodness. Why is it this puzzle that's the last one? Why is it this one? This one feels like it should be the simplest. It does not feel like it's there's going to be much abstraction going on here. And yet, like, it's so simple, supposedly so simple, so straightforward, and yet completely befuddling me so far. Was I pairing? Is it possible that I was pairing the wrong set of diamonds? Like, oh, wait a second. Oh, no. I was putting, for a second I thought I had forgotten to isolate 2 of the diamonds and I had left them with a whole bunch of 3s, but I think I did this, correct? I did this setup like this. Like this, that arrangement should satisfy the diamonds. But clearly more than just the diamonds have to be satisfied. What do we do about the 3s? What the hell? I suppose we could try... we could do something like... I don't know. This? Is that a Taiji solution? It's still... I'm not quite sure how to factor in the 3s. What are the 3s meant to do for us? Oh, okay, hold on. That wouldn't be a thing, would it? I was like, do I actually need to make the number 3 in the puzzle panel? That would be pretty wild. Doesn't look like it, though. I just don't know what additional information I'm supposed to incorporate here. All that I, you know, my logical thinking just tells me that this is diamonds. And I don't know what to do about... There are 4 3s. And they're at the corners. 4 3s at the corners. What does that mean? How do I pair things off here? Or am I doing something completely different? It feels like I need to do something completely different. I'm thinking that maybe I need to just go back and review every single diamonds puzzle that we've done. Because there must be something that I'm forgetting. Or at the very least, I need to get my brain to stretch itself outside of its current box. I need some lateral thinking here. Which I'm not great at. I've said it before. What do we need to do here? What is the trick? These were snaky dance floor diamonds, but those all are just diamonds. It feels like we need to find some puzzles where we had more than just diamonds that were being... Where we had more than just diamonds on the puzzle. And I don't think we had that in the mines until here, right? We had our little elevator the elevator shortcut that did have these optional puzzles that started to combine dots. Like, the dots are the symbol that involves counting, right? But they've always just been dots. There's never been a numeral. There hasn't been like a number 3 or any other number that would make it seem... I guess we have had subtraction before with dots. We haven't really seen subtraction used anywhere outside of the shrine. Oh. Okay, this is another thing that is... I need to go back and probably explore the entire island just for these certain puzzles that have... There's obviously some puzzles that have a little outline to them. And I've noticed it, but I have not really figured out how does it factor into the overall scheme of things. That is something we need to think about eventually. I don't think it's going to help us here. And now we're just looking at shrine dots puzzles again. We need somehow some information that's going to help us. 3 of diamonds. What the hell? Of all the puzzles in the game, this is the one that I probably would have least expected would stump us so badly. Would not have guessed it. Did we get this all opened up? Yes, we did. Okay. And there were diamonds on these panels. Does this information help at all? I suppose we did learn a new lesson here in that the flower symbols can be used to pair with different... The same symbol can be used to pair with 2 different diamonds if they're of a different color. But that doesn't help us with the 3 of diamonds, right? They're all the same color, are they not? I guess we did not solve all of these. Okay. And they do have diamonds on them. Could they potentially contain a lesson that we've not learned here? Is there somehow... We've got lines and diamonds. Is there... I suppose it's possible that there are going to somehow be numbers on the puzzles that are locked away from us that we haven't solved yet. Do I want to try to spend time solving this guy? It might not be so bad because they are forcing these some initial steps here. They are kind of forcing our hand because of the placement. These things, well, yeah, no, I think I have to make an empty space here like this, right? These have to be empty spaces, correct? So those have to be connected together. And then that means that, well, is it that simple? Or do I need to actually have this kind of a setup? Well, no, I can't quite go that far. I can't have... I don't think I can do... We reset this again. I think I have to have this for sure, right? That in order to line up with this side. And then from there, I don't think I can't extend it in this direction. I maybe could go, one of these directions, right? So I could extend this shape. I could do something like this. And maybe like this. But I guess then it would have to look like this. So there might be some variability on how... But then if I do that, how am I pairing together these white diamonds? How do we handle? Because if I go like this, like I could make this shape, you know, something like that, except I can't, because then that connects, I would be connecting these two yellow lines in the same place, and I don't think I'm going to be able to do that, because these are not rotatable. So I think they have to have their own separate rooms. So I think at a bare minimum, of course, this has to happen. The only question then, I guess maybe the next question is, how do we handle the white squares? Like, should it be something like this? And then maybe something like this? Is this how we should build this? That feels correct. That feels like how we want to handle this. That feels like the flow solution. Now, okay, that opened that door, but there are more panels to do here. That's interesting. It lets us go back to do this singular panel. Okay. All right, sure. How, I mean, there's only so many ways you could do this. How difficult could it be? We need to pair the yellow diamond with one of the yellow lines. Would it make sense just to go like this? And then you would have to build an empty space. Well, okay, you got to be a little more clever than that. You have to be a little more clever. So maybe instead of going that direction, you go... You can't go this direction either, because then it would be impossible to make a space for this, for the yellow, or sorry, for the white line that's on the border over here. So we can't do that. If I go like this, then if I go like that, it's almost like I need to use the empty space. How could I do this? Could I... Do I want to go like that? If I do that... This is funky. This is definitely a bit funky. Okay. There could be a lesson that we're supposed to learn here, but I feel like it's whatever lesson it is still not going to help us with 3 of diamonds. So I don't know. I don't know. Let's come back to this one. We've seen that now, at least. I'd like to look at this one. Let's see, how many diamonds do we have? We do have 7 diamonds. Okay. And there's 2 diagonal lines. You could do... I don't know if this is helpful, but you could do something like this. You could do something like that. But I don't think you actually can. If there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If there are 7 diamonds, that means that one of the diamonds is going to be paired with one of the lines. And then that's it. The second line is actually going to be in a room by itself. But then how is that possible? How is that possible if this board... Is this board not arranged perfectly symmetrically? Maybe there is a lesson here that they're supposed to teach us, because based on my understanding of things, this initially feels impossible unless I am... Well, I've got to be screwing something up here. This feels like there is a line of symmetry across this diagonal. And I think that is the case. And so, if that is true, let me just focus on, before I focus on shapes or the yellow lines, although those would technically work, is there a way I can arrange this board so that... Does this give me feedback? It does give me feedback on these symbols, which is important, because it lets me do some experimentation to make sure I truly understand the rules for diamonds. So far, this is all acting the way I would expect it. Yeah. So I need to be a bit okay, I think the answer to my question is I would need to build a shape like this. That's how I get a shape where one line has a diamond, but the other does not. That's the answer. And now the puzzle maybe solves itself? Okay, so that did not change my understanding. It just was a new, clever, creative way to stretch my understanding, I suppose. And now this is going to do something similar. This is doing a very similar thing where we have to build our lines in a way... Okay, so I need to do this in a way that keeps the white diamonds in the same room. But I need to be able to build a room for... Like, would it be like this? Something... Dun, dun, dun. How do I do this? Like, I'm wanting to do an L shape. I'm wanting to do an L shape. But then where would I put the other L? And also, how do I... Now, that's a tough one. Because the way that I was able to break the symmetry on this one... Well, I used a different line of symmetry. I used a different line of symmetry. So the line of symmetry for yellow... There's a few different lines of symmetry. But... that might not be the right way to phrase this. What shape makes sense? I mean, I could ignore the yellow lines for just a minute and just think about what two diamonds are going to go together. What two yellow diamonds are going to go together. Do the white diamonds maybe go together with the yellow diamonds? If I did that... Maybe I need to build a much bigger shape than I think I need to. Do I build... Oh, I could do... I was thinking about building an L that goes like this, but I think that's too much. I can't then... I have no space to put this guy somewhere without it eating up one of the remaining yellow diamonds. This is a tricky one. This is a tricky one. I don't want to do that. I think that one is ruled out. And similarly, this one is ruled out because I can't... I need to keep space, leave space for the white diamonds to connect to each other. And if I build... I think this would have to be ruled out as well, because that would force me to connect these like this. And that's impossible. So it feels like it's forcing me to connect... Maybe that's the insight here. I think that was the insight. That was the insight. Just go with... Figure out what the constraints are. Go process of elimination... and figure out what needs to be done. Okay, I kind of just wanted to see this final board here to just make sure there was no like number 3s on it or something. I do want to figure this out, but not right this moment. I kind of want to come back to these because we want to get all the puzzles, but I also am anxious to try to finish off that last bonfire, and I don't quite know. I don't think that this information here is going to help with that. So what do? I already tried arranging things such that each 3 has 3 squares to itself. I already tried that, didn't I? I thought that was like maybe the first thing we tried, but also maybe it's not possible? Is it possible to do that? There are 15 squares altogether, correct? So if I needed each 3 to have its own space, it would have to be something like... It would have to go... It would have to be... Could I even do it? It might not be possible. Not without combining spaces of 3. Or I don't know now. Now I don't know. I don't think I could actually give each 3 its own space, could I? It would have to be something like this. Where they're combined, right? You have 3 plus 3, 3 plus 3, but then the diamonds aren't happy. Because the diamonds need to have a pair. And it seems like there could be 2 different arrangements of pairs. You could have 2 red diamonds paired together, and then a red diamond and a 3. Again, I am presuming that each individual 3 acts like a singular object for the purposes of diamond pairs. I don't see how else that would work. The other arrangement would be to pair off each diamond with one particular 3, which I think we could do. We could do like this, but then you have like 1 3 by itself, and I'm not sure how that makes sense. I feel like fundamentally I am missing a piece of information here that the game has never taught me. Is it possible? that the 3s are actually connected to the 0s and 1s. Have I just... did I just throw this out whole cloth? Because let's try this. If they are connected to the 0s and 1s, then the whole thing we said previously about the XOR function is that it acts as an odd detector, right? Let's do a reset on this. So if it's an odd detector, that means that that square wants to be filled in, right? So we need to make sure that the 3s are filled in, the squares with the 3s. And so if that's correct, then can we... The issue then is that we do need to pair... how do we pair these off? How do we... I'm not sure if that's... We still need to pair... We still need to pair the... Oh, except we can put the diamonds in the empty space, right? I don't have to put... 2 of the diamonds could be in an empty room or an empty space room. And then this 3rd diamond could be paired with any of them. Would that work? No, it's not as simple as that. It's not as simple as that. I just don't quite understand what the 3s are supposed to symbolize. It did feel like maybe we had the 2 zeros here with the owl's eyes. Unless there was a way I could have done this backwards, which I had already tried to think about doing that once, but gosh, I just don't quite get it here. I had already tried making like the symbol 3. Like that felt like that could be an intuitive way to do this, but that doesn't seem to work. Gosh, we have not had to go super complicated on any of these. They've used symbols that we have been familiar with previously. Maybe you could say this one was sort of a weird deviation. But not really. You just had to get, tuned into the right frequency. What's the frequency that we need to get for this guy? 3s. 330, 300, no, 3,333. AM or FM? I don't know. What are we gonna do? Oh my god. Oh my god. Did I really not try this either? Or did I fail unsuccessfully? Oh my gosh. I could have sworn that I tried, or that I don't remember at this point what I've done, because I have you're going to all see this as one episode, but I have been, throughout the day, been returning to this puzzle in multiple sessions because I've been stuck each time before. And I thought for sure during one of those sessions, I had tried treating the 3s as dots, or saying that I needed to create a room with 3, for each of them, or combining them in some way to where they add up to 6, 9, 12, whatever the correct number is, just like you would do with dots. I thought that was like the first thing we tried. But if I did, then I must have done it wrong, or I didn't even try at all. I can't believe that. I just went back to doing this just because I was like, I think I tried this before, but Let's do it again just for the heck of it. I might have done it wrong. Maybe I just never lined it up in a way where either I was not making the 3s happy, because I finally got a 6 down here, and I got a 3 here and a 3 here, but maybe I was never pairing the diamonds correctly at the same time. Because I did have a couple iterations there that I tried before this, where the diamond wasn't actually, I noticed that one of the diamonds wasn't paired up. Okay, we got 2 achievements there. Not 1, but 2 achievements, because we did, in fact, complete. I'm going to recheck what the achievement said, because I was a little bit stunned. I was in a state of shock at actually having gotten the win in that puzzle. It was, in fact, the gallery. Our naming convention was right on the money. We have completed the gallery and gotten the achievement for completing all of the major areas in the game. So that feels great. We have, in fact, lit all the bonfires. Feels good, man. That was fun. The gallery, I have to say, was a lot of fun. It, I think, was the most challenging area. Definitely was the most challenging area for me so far. Definitely stretched my thinking in a lot of different directions, but I think it might also be my favorite area. Partly for that reason, because I do love the challenge, but I thought it was a well thought out. Some of the puzzles feel, you know, it felt like I had to use some level of abstract thinking in order to get there, but not too much, right? There was still a lot of logic that was underpinning those puzzles, even if, you know, that's the thing, is when you're first approaching the puzzles, the logic seems more sketchy than when it finally all clicks together. So look at that hub. Look at that completed, filled in hub. It is so beautiful. And I'm looking forward to actually taking a stab at this puzzle. We're not going to do that now, but soon enough, we will be taking a stab at that and see what happens. I'm curious. Is there going to be it's either a doorway that's going to open up here, or potentially we're going to drain the pool of water, and there's going to be like a staircase going underground. That's my guess, or my 2 guesses. Those were 2 guesses technically. Let's also, before we hit the road, I do want to check. I have to check at the start. I have to know if we have finally lighting all of our bonfires has actually netted some difference here at the starting portion. Oh, it does not seem. Oh, you know what? You know what? I've just had an idea. I have just had an idea, ladies and gentlemen, and we will explore this idea next time. But my little preview for the moment is, or my idea previewing for next time. We'll see exactly what we end up doing next time. But let me say, the idea is, what if the map is supposed to be what we're looking at here? Just like we did in the art gallery, are we supposed to be overlaying this grid on top of one of our, or it's not one of, but it's the same, it is the map that we can look at the map at any one of the 9, is it 9? Were there 9 of them? However many different map marker locations, we can go to any one of them. What's the closest one? There was one over by the gallery, wasn't there? Just need to find a, this might be, if this theory does check out, then this might definitely be where I decide to implement some MS Paint help. Because, yeah, I am so wondering, Oh, shit. It might not just be... Oh, crap. I think that's exactly what we're seeing. Next time we will investigate this more thoroughly, but I think the map here is supposed to correspond to I want to say a 9x9. We just looked at it, but I forgot how many it was, but I'm thinking that it needs to take the 3x3 pattern from each of these markers, this 3x3 pattern that we fill in here, and that's going to correspond to that 3x3 segment on the overall map. That's what I'm thinking we need to check out next time and see if that works. That will be one of the things we investigate. And we also have, of course, many optional puzzles strewn about the island. The island, quote unquote. And I know I think we checked it earlier, but I'm not sure if if it made the cutting room floor in some of my wandering around the area. Some of that will make the episode. Some may end up getting spliced out of editing. I'm not finding the spot that I'm looking for, but there is a spot that is behind a waterfall that does have some puzzles that we need to revisit. Lots of puzzles in various portions of the quote-unquote island, and we will be doing that next time. It feels very good to get all the bonfires lit and getting closer to the next stage of whatever the game has. I'm so excited. I'm so excited about this map idea. I almost want to do it now, but we will have to wait until next time to get that started. Tune in then to find out how it turns out. Thank you all very much for joining me, and I hope to see you in the next one.